All of you guys, you've got it all wrong. The Israelis care about the Gazans. They've given thousands of them work permits so that they can work peacefully in Israel. They care about them. This is a point that you'll see many Israeli advocates propagating when discussing the dynamic between Israelis and Palestinians. However, some have argued that the real factor in this is actually economic dependency. As reported by the Middle Eastern Eye, the Israeli Builders Association is currently negotiating for 50 to 100,000 Indians to come from India to replace Palestinians whose contracts have been cancelled since October the 7th.
Right now we are negotiating with India. We are waiting for a decision of the Israeli government to approve that. And we hope to engage 50,000 to 100,000 workers from India to be able to run the whole sector and bring it back to normal.
This cancellation of their contracts, around 18,000 contracts to be specific, some are describing as collective punishment. Essentially, because of what happened on October the 7th, all of you who are working in Israel, you Gazans, you have to bear the brunt. Last Friday, Israel released around 3,200 Palestinians working in Israel back into Gaza, mentioning that Israel would cut all ties with Gaza. The workers have mentioned that they were working on some of the lowest wages. And now, returning to Gaza, they have to worry about their families and their future. Upon their release, some of the Palestinian workers are actually describing some of the painful ordeals that they had to go through when working under the Israelis. In a series of interviews collected by the CNN, we learn about some of the horrifying things that these people went through. For example, we have the case of Abu Darabeh. Abu Darabeh said he was detained on the second day of the war. He says, "They put us in cages like dogs, beatings, insults. They didn't care whether people are ill or not. Some of us were injured. Their feet got rotten because they didn't get any medical treatment." Another worker anonymously described, "They suspended our permissions. We tried to go to the West Bank. They detained us and put us in places where we never knew where we were." One of the workers told CNN, adding, "They tied our arms, blindfolded us and put us on buses. They were gathering 200 to 300 of us between metal fences, beating and investigating us day and night." The stories that these workers are mentioning are many and are very, very painful to read. Though the CNN have mentioned that they were unable to independently verify these reports, a video that was released a few days ago by the Electronic Intifada shows Israeli soldiers brutally beating Palestinians who have been stripped naked, with settlers mutilating Palestinian bodies. Of course, these are images that we simply cannot show you on YouTube. However, they are out there for the public to view. A type of torture that the Israelis have used, for which there is undeniable proof, is the blindfolding of Palestinians, putting headphones on them, and then blasting children's music out loud in their ears. Just look at the reaction of Yinon Magel, an Israeli politician and journalist, who responded to an initial video of Palestinians going through this for an alleged 8 hours with mocking the suffering of Palestinians going through such torture. Likewise, videos have been released of Palestinians being forced to pose with the Israeli flag and also chant, "Long live Israel." A very, very, very important point that should be noted is that many of these incidents are actually taking place in the West Bank, where there is no Hamas. Israel has constantly insisted that they are operating within the bounds of international law. But the footage that you have seen in this video and the footage that exists out there that we simply cannot show you is actually evidence to the contrary. Detainment without trial, electrocutions, beatings, torture, humiliation. These are all very serious allegations. Whilst the politicians of the Western world continue to parrot the same point that Israel has a right to defend itself, Israeli soldiers can continue to film themselves beating and humiliating Palestinians.